Hey guys, I hope you're doing great today. Well, in this tutorial, we are going to install Docker on our Ubuntu 22.04 machine. So guys, there are two methods to install Docker on your VM. The first is we can install it with apt install docker. The other method is to install the fresh or the latest version of Docker. So let's get started and install Docker on our VM. So guys, I have prepared this short tutorial guide how to install Docker on Ubuntu 22.04. And don't worry, I will share it with you guys. The link of this tutorial will be in the description. So you can see that the installation is divided into 5 steps. The first is update the software repository. The second one is download tools and dependencies. The third one is to add Docker's GPG key. Each step is written with its explanation. And after that, we will add the official Docker repository so that we can install the latest version of Docker on our VM. And then we will install Docker. So let me log into my VM. Putty. So I hope that now you are comfortable working with the CLI or command line or shell. DevOps Molvi is my user, and you can see that I am authenticated with my keys. So we can log in to root just to see. So I was checking Docker installation here, and you can see that Docker and apt install docker.io, and it will install the 24.5 version of the Docker, which is I think an old version. And let's check what is the current version now. Current version of Docker, and you can see I just checked it yesterday, to be honest. And what is the latest version of Docker? And the latest release is 27.0, and it was released 1 week and 5 days ago. So that would be our latest version of Docker, and I think we should install it because the latest version comes with a lot of fixes and other things that are updated. So we should avoid installing an old version. So but for your learning, you can install, and it is one liner install. You just need to run as root or sudo with DevOps Molvi. We will be running our commands with DevOps Molvi, of course. And you can see it is just one line command, and Docker will be installed on your system with 24.0.5 version. But if we want to install the latest version of Docker, we should be installing with that guide that I will share with you guys. So I will exit, and we can check. You can see that the Docker is not installed on this VM, and it is also saying that you can use sudo. With root we can directly install with apt install, but on DevOps Molvi user we have to run sudo apt install, and you can see that the same version we can install with apt install. But now we are going to install the version 27.0 with the following steps that I've mentioned in this document. So I hope that you don't have any confusion. This is the latest release of Docker engine, and we are going to install this release. So it is recommended that we should install the final or latest version. And I hope that you have enabled virtualization on your Windows computer. installed VMware player and running Ubuntu on it. We have already done all these steps, and now we are going to install and run our first command, which will update the software repository. Sudo apt update, which is one of the most common commands, and it is used to update the software repository. I will run it with sudo, and it will ask password. Oh, it didn't ask for the password. Now our software repository will be updated. It will take a few moments. All right, guys. Uh, After running that command, I will clear my screen. So the next step is download tools and dependencies. It is also a mandatory step because it will install a couple of software tools for encrypted communication. We are going to talk with the Docker and software repositories. We are going to download them. I want my communication with repositories or with the links that we are going to use in the commands should be encrypted, and for that it is important from security point of view. I have written it in the document, and it is recommended to transfer the data and files using apt transport https to keep the environment secure. So we will install these tools so that our communication with external sites must be secure. And I will just run this command. You can see that there are a couple of softwares we are going to install: apt transport https, cs certificates, curl, software properties common. So these are tools recommended by the software developers and engineers so that your communication must be secure, and it will take a few moments to install. Apt install is a heaven. It is one of the most simplest and one of the easiest command to install any kind of software on Ubuntu. You just need to install apt install NetTools, apt install Apache, apt install Nginx, apt install docker.io. So that is one of the most easiest command you could ever imagine. So guys, it will take few moments. Our progress is 80% now. So let's see what is the next command so that we can continue without wasting our time. And it is add Docker's GPG key. And what is a GPG key? It says that it is an excellent method to ensure secure communication between two parties, because we are going to pull to get to download the software from the third party, and it protects the package against tampering. GPG relies on a security concept known as public key encryption. When you add a key with apt key add, you trust that the key to authenticate software. Because we are going to install Docker, that's why we should avoid any malicious thing, so that our system must not download any malicious software or malicious package. That's why we add the Docker's GPG key. You can see it is the following command, and it will add the following Docker archive keyring.gpg key. And the purpose of this GPG key is to ensure that we securely communicate with the following site. You can see that we are going to download from this site, download.docker.com, and we are going to install this GPG key, and curl command is used to do so. Clear. And I will run this command, and it will add the Docker GPG key. Yes, I will overwrite it because I downloaded it a day before, and clear. So our GPG key has been added. Now we will add the official Docker repository from where our apt install Docker command will pull the packages, and we will have a latest version of Docker software installed on our VM. Now this command is used. I will copy, and you can see that it is saying we are going to install Docker's stable release from its official repository. So download.docker.com is the official repository, and since our VM is Ubuntu, we are going to install the tool, the Docker software for our Ubuntu. Therefore, we have to add that repository to our system. And now I will just add the repository. That repository should be added here. You can see etc apt sources .list.d. We can go to this side. Okay, the directory is here. Now you can see that this docker.list sudo nano docker.list must have this archive from where we are going to install our Docker. So here is the repository link, and we are going to install Docker from this latest release. And now I will update my repositories, sudo apt update, and you can see that it is now updating the repositories, so it has been done. Now we have to run the final command to install Docker on our Ubuntu 22.04 VM. And guys, if you have 24.04, the method would be almost the same. And we will be installing Docker CE. So there are actually two editions of Docker. The first is Community Edition and the Enterprise Edition, which is the second one. So we are going to install Community Edition, which is free, and it's around 504 MB download. And yes, that's true. And I will run this command to install, and we will see that whether we are having the latest release of Docker installed on our VM. So it is saying that after this operation, 437 MB of additional disk space will be used. Okay, I will click yes, and now it will take a few moments to install Docker on our VM. So guys, the installation is still in progress, and you can see that it will take 2 minutes to install. We can review our Docker installation guide. So there are only 5 steps you saw, and in which we updated the software repository first, and then we installed a couple of security tools which are used to communicate securely over HTTPS, which is encrypted. And then we added the Docker's GPG key for more security, and then we added the official Docker repository. What is the purpose of adding official Docker repository? So that we have the updated release of Docker on our VM. And then we again updated the software repository, and we installed running the apt install Docker Community Edition, which is CE. So in order to avoid that much steps, you can just simply run apt install docker.io. But the only difference is that it will install the older version of Docker, which is 24.0, and we are using this method and executing 5 additional steps so that we can have the latest release of Docker on our VM. So it is your choice. You can directly run apt install docker.io. Guys, you can see that the installation is now in progress. We have downloaded, you can see the packages downloaded in apt install docker. We can see the docker ce, and also other tools like CLI, and also compose plugin, and so on. Now it is being installed on our VM, and you can see that the version we are installing is 27.0. We can see in the installation logs, all these logs are showing the packages that are required, and also uh, the plugins that are needed to run Docker are also getting installed. And our Docker installation has been completed. So I will run Docker to verify whether our installation has been completed. And guys, we have our installation of Docker completed, and you can see that, and we are able to run the Docker commands. You can see that it is a self-sufficient runtime for containers. So Docker is installed. Now we are going to run our first command, and it is a normal general command to run and confirm whether our Docker installation was correct. Docker run hello world. And the purpose of running this command is to get this error, and it is saying that permission denied while trying to connect to the Docker daemon, and we are not able to run this command. You can see Docker images, and I'm getting the same error, Docker search Ubuntu, and I should be getting this error. So how can we fix this error? And the error is literally very simple. And you must get this error while you complete the installation of Docker, because I am using DevOps Molvi user to run the Docker command. So this error is saying that DevOps Molvi does not have the permissions to run Docker command. So I have to grant DevOps Molvi user the permissions to run Docker command. So there must be a Docker group. So first we should check sudo nano etc groups, and there must be etc group, and you must be able to see the Docker group. You can see it is just recently added, and I will add the DevOps Molvi user into the Docker group so that DevOps Molvi user can execute all these commands, all the Docker commands. And guys, if I go to root user, I would not be getting this error. Let's try for our learning. Sudo -i, and now I am in the root. All right, are you getting my point, right? So now I am in the root Docker search images, and you can see I am able to run this command, and Docker search nginx. I am not getting any of the permission denied error. You can see we are able to search any image, nginx image. So I would be able to run any command using the root user, because root is a super user. But I want to run Docker commands with DevOps Molvi user, and I Docker search nginx, and I am getting this error. So if I use sudo, then I should not be getting this error, because DevOps Molvi is a super user with sudo, but I want to run without sudo. So the fix is simple. We would be adding sudo user mod -a capital G. We have used this command. If you remember, we used this command to add multiple users into a single group. So this command user mod minus add group docker and DevOps Molvi. All right, you can see that now I am modifying the user DevOps Molvi and adding it into the Docker group. Again, let me repeat it again. I'm modifying user mod command and I want to add DevOps Molvi user into the Docker group. I have shown the Docker group in etc group. You saw the Docker group was added, and now if DevOps Molvi becomes the part of that Docker group, it will be able to run all the Docker commands without sudo, without any privileges. And now let me see the etc group file, etc and group, and you can see our DevOps Molvi user has been added into the DevOps group. So guys, we have learned a couple of things from this practice. First of all, we saw while installation of Docker was completed and then a Docker group was available in etc group file. You can see this file, and we were not able to run any Docker commands with DevOps Molvi user if we were not using the sudo. And I want that my user can be able to run all the Docker commands without sudo. And we encountered the above error which says permission denied. So the fix was literally so much simple that we had to modify the DevOps Molvi user and we added it into the Docker group. I'm sure that this detailed explanation will clear the concept. So guys, now our DevOps Molvi user has been added to the Docker group. Now I should not get any errors while running docker run hello world. So I'm running this command without sudo and I want my command to successfully run. Oh no! What happened? You can see that I'm getting this error again, so we'll have to fix it. So the fix is I will log out from this terminal and I will try to log in again. This is a troubleshooting step, you can say, and DevOps Molvi, and I have to authenticate. Now docker run hello world, and it is running without sudo on my VM, and it is saying that unable to find image hello world latest locally. So guys, now there was no docker hello world image on my VM, and what it did, it pulled the image. You can see that this is the hash of this image, docker run hello world, and it downloaded the newer image for hello world latest. This is the tag, this is the image name. So hello from Docker, this image shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. To generate this image, Docker took the following steps. Guys, this is literally very important to read these lines for a beginner. It is saying what is happening behind the scene. And the Docker's client contacted the Docker daemon. We already discussed in our what is Docker lecture. I ran docker run hello command, hello world, and the Docker client, I was the client, right? And I contacted with the Docker daemon, which was installed just a couple of moments ago, and then the Docker daemon pulled the hello world image from the Docker Hub official repository. Now we have to check hello world image if it exists on Docker Hub. So I will type hub.docker.com and I will try to find if there is hello world image, and there should be one because it was pulled from this repository. This is repository, and we are going to create an account because we are going to push and pull our images to this repository, which is hub.docker.com. And I will search hello world, and you can see the image is there. This is official Docker image and has 1 billion plus pulls. Wow, there has been more than a billion pulls of this hello world image, and you can see that I ran docker run hello world, and in order to pull the image only, the command is docker pull hello world. And you can see it must have a tag which is latest, and we can find the latest tag by filtering. You can see this was the tag that we pulled from hub.docker.com. So guys, any official image, it is available in Docker Hub, and it is pulled from that image. Now back to the terminal, you can see the Docker daemon created a new container from that image which runs the executable that produces the output you are currently reading. And the Docker daemon streamed that output to the Docker client, which sent it to your terminal. Now we can run a Ubuntu container with docker run -it ubuntu bash. This command is used to run a brand new Ubuntu container. So guys, now I want to check whether I have this hello world images on my VM. I will clear the screen, docker images, and you can see that I have this hello world image that was downloaded while I ran the docker run hello world command. So it means that our docker installation is perfect and everything is looking smooth. So we can find or pull docker pull ubuntu latest. Now it will pull the ubuntu latest image only, it will not run the image. So we are going to pull it, and it will take a couple of moments, and it is saying that latest tag is being pulled from this library ubuntu. Now we can pull other tags as well. For instance, if I search ubuntu in the official Docker Hub repository, you can see Ubuntu is a Debian based Linux operating system based on free software, and the command that I ran is docker pull ubuntu. And if I want to yes, this is 24.04, and the tags, we can find out all these tags here, and here, sorry, these are the tags, and I used the latest tag. Every image comes with that tag, and I want to find 24 point, and I want to search this tag, and yes, you can see I am able to find this tag. Now the command would be changed to pull that exact tag, and I will use docker pull ubuntu 24.04 command to pull that tag. Alright, you can see that our ubuntu image has been pulled, and it has the latest tag. Again, docker images, and you can see ubuntu with the tag latest tag, and this is the image id, and it was created 4 weeks ago with this size. Now I want to pull a specific tag, this one. All right, and what would be the command? The command would be docker pull this ubuntu with 24.04 tag. I will run this command and it, it will pull the Ubuntu image from Docker Hub with this tag, and it must have another image with this tag. So clear the screen and we should have three images now. Okay, we have Docker image of Ubuntu with tag 24.04. So that's how, guys, we can pull the Docker images with specific tags on our VM. For instance, if I want to search for Nginx, and this image is also one of the most frequently used image, and you can see it has also more than 1 billion pulls, 1 billion image pulls. And this is the command to run docker pull nginx, and there are a lot of tags for this image. And nginx is a web server which is used to run web application, and it is used as a reverse proxy as well. And there must be a latest tag, and there are also a lot of other tags. And for instance, if I want to search latest, and you can see that we have this Ubuntu, Nginx latest tag, and I will run the command like I will not pull the image, I will directly run docker run nginx latest. So guys, what will this command do? It will first pull the nginx latest image, and then it will run nginx on port 80. We will be having a running web server on our VM. Okay, it is saying that there is no such image locally on my VM. That is true. We don't have this image, and now it is pulling the nginx image from hub.docker.com with latest tag. Then this command will also run nginx on our VM on port 80, which is default, and we would be able to change this port to any other port. Alright guys, now you can see these instructions, these layers. So each layer is a set of instructions. Our Docker images are built on these layers. Alright guys, you can see that our nginx image has been pulled, and it has been running fine because I've used docker run nginx latest command, so it is running on the screen and not running in the foreground. So I can check with docker ps command, docker process show, and it lists the running containers. And okay, you can see that my nginx latest image and the docker container id is this one. So this container is running and it is up from 3 minutes, and also you can see that it is running on port 80. And also, if I want to inspect docker inspect and docker ps, and I want to inspect docker inspect this container id, and I will get a lot of details of this container. You can see it is running on this IP address gateway, and this docker inspect command is literally a great command which shares all the details of any running container. And you can see that the image was nginx latest, and this is the entry point. And also we can find the image IP where this container is running, on which IP, and we can find this. The IP address is 172.17.0.2. This is the IP address and other details of the container. So that's how, guys, we can inspect any running container. So you saw that we just ran docker run nginx latest. It pulled the nginx image and run it into a container. Guys, that's it for today. Let me repeat, what did we do today? We installed Docker, we installed the latest release of Docker on our VM, and then we ran our first container of Docker run hello world. That was our first container, and we encountered a permission denied error, and we also fixed that. That is one of the most common errors while you work with Docker. And you saw that we added DevOps Molvi user into the Docker group, and that's how we fixed this error. So also we saw Docker images, and we pulled a couple of Docker images from the official hub.docker.com repository, and you saw that all the official images are stored in hub.docker.com, and we can pull any image with the tag mentioned on this official repository. So we can pull Docker images with the latest tags and with the tags of our choice. So these were some of the basic commands, and we just confirmed whether our Docker installation was perfect and working without any errors. In the next lecture, we are going to play with containers. We are going to run multiple containers on our VM. We are going to learn about the common Docker commands. Like you can see, Docker is itself is letting us know the commands, common commands like docker run, execute, ps, build, pull, push, images, log in, log out. So we will cover all these commands, and these are basic Docker commands to work with the Docker containers, to build Docker images, to push Docker images to official repository. We will have an account created on hub.docker.com in the next lecture. So the next lecture would be a huge knowledge sharing session, and I would really appreciate that if you subscribe my channel. I will watch you and see you in the next lecture of Docker. Take care, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. This is the only way I get support and love from you guys. Bye.